Hi, welcome and welcome back to my channel. My name is Ottavia and I'm starting another reading vlog, and I'm finally going to read Babel by R.F. Kuang. It's a book that I had on my TBR for so long, even on my TBR card. It's a book that I wanted to read already, I think in March or something like that, March or April, but I didn't get to it, which is so sad. I wanted to actually keep it maybe for autumn, because I think it's more aesthetic for it, or like winter, I don't know. But at the same time, like, listen, I need to read this one. I want to see the hype and why it's so good, and also read an R.F. Kuang book, because I haven't read anything from her. My boyfriend have the first book of The Poppy War. I really wanted to read that one, but I want to read this one first because it's my book. That's his book. So I want to read my TBR first before going to that. But I want to start from this one. I love anything literature, academic setting, and I know this one is set in Oxford, which is a beautiful city, by the way, in England. And basically, we are in Oxford in 1836. The city of dreaming spires. It is the center of all knowledge and progress in the world, and at its heart is Babel, Oxford University prestigious Royal Institute on Translation, the tower from which all the power of the empire flows. Orphaned in Canton and brought to England by a mysterious guardian, Robin Swift thought Babel a paradise until it became a prison. But can a student stand against an empire? And I know this is going to touch a lot of topics, quite heavy ones, I think, but I am super excited to start this one. I know that some people had problems reading it, not because there was a problem with the book itself, but it wasn't their thing, because I know there are some footnotes and sometimes it's a lot more into details of things, and I don't know, it's about like a institute of translations. There's going to be a lot about languages, which I do love, that kind of thing. So I hope I will really enjoy this one. It might be because English is my second language. It might be a little bit difficult maybe for me to read. I'm not sure. So it's going to take me a little bit longer. But I am super excited to finally start an R.F. Kuang book, because there's another book that is coming out, Catabasis, I think is the name. And I'm so interested in that one. But I want to read first the book from her and see how it's her writing style. I know that she also wrote Yellowface, which is another book on my radar that I don't have. But let's see. It was a book of the year for, I don't know which year. When did it come out, this book? So this book came out in 2022. And this paperback edition is 2023. So still quite new. And I love the cover, first of all, and I've seen so many other beautiful covers, even in Italy as well. I think I put it down below, but I went to Italy, for a wedding, and I went to two bookstores, and in one of them there was such a beautiful edition of Babel. So sad I didn't get it, but to be honest, I have it also in English, and I usually read mostly English books than Italian ones nowadays. But I'm always open to that, of course. But I just like this. And let me have this one. It's a paperback. It would be so much easier to bring around. And yeah, I'm gonna start. And once I am maybe 100 pages in or something like this, I'll come back to you. Because this one has 144 pages. So nearly 550. And yeah, it's gonna be a journey, I think, but I am really excited, and I think it's the right time for me to start. So I'll come back to you later. Okay, long time no speak, no see, no. Anyway, it's been a long time since I update you on Babel. Yes, this book. So I'm on page 143. It took me a while to read these pages, just because at first when I started it, I was doing lots of stuff, and then a few days I didn't read, and then I finished another book, and now I'm back, and it's a heavy book, but easy at the same time. And so far, I am really, really enjoying it. Okay, so when I started reading this book, I did a little bit of research or like seeing people what they were thinking, and they were like, all right, it's really difficult. It's a lot about literature, it's a lot about things, heavy topics, really difficult to get into. And I can say that is not really difficult to get into. For me, it's really easy. For example, the topic are quite heavy, yes, because anyway, you're talking about colonialism, you talk about racism, you talk about minority, and you talk about like in that period of time in 1800s how people were treating people that didn't have the same skin color. They were coming from like different parts of the country, and the slavery, and then also how women were treated about around that time as well. And the thing is that Kuang, she's doing it so well. I love it. I even love the footnotes that she leaves to kind of explain a little bit, a few words or where it come from. I just love it. I'm really, really enjoying it. I'm discovering other things that I didn't know about in the area of the 1800s, which is amazing. I love a book that gives me that. And I'm afraid of what's going to happen to the protagonist in here. I don't know what, I don't even know how this book can finish, in my opinion. I love the magic as well, like how they incorporate this magic, which I don't know if I want to say it, but it's really crazy. But yeah, you see that in this part where how the English Empire was really there for everyone, really high up, and to be honest, just cared about themselves and no one else. This is what's stated here, and what we can see also in history anyway. Also other places as well. It's not only English, but also like French and Spanish as well, because it's because of them and other ones that they conquer the world and then go around, which is horrible. And that's why colonialism happened and stuff like that. Let's not talk about history at the moment now. It's gonna be a lot, and I don't want to get into trouble if I say something worse or like not correct. Like I'm not that person, okay? Like no. Let's just leave it like this. And it's gonna take me a little bit to read it, and it's so sad because I want to read as many books as possible this month. But listen, sometimes I need to read a book like this, and it's been a while since I wanted to read this book, and I have another book for Kuang that I really want to read, which is coming out soon, so I need to see how I feel of the writing style. But at the moment, I'm happy. But yeah, today is a lovely day in London. It's really sunny, it's really hot as well. Hopefully I can read a little bit before going out today. But yeah, so far so good. I have nothing to complain. You can see already the problems that London or Oxford at that time had, and I'm really excited to see Robin, which is the protagonist, how is gonna deal with everything. And for him at the moment, Babel sounds really, really interesting, but let's see what's gonna happen in this world, and for Robin as well, which I hope is gonna be fine. Okay, sorry for my appearance, but it's really, really hot here in London. We are 26, 27 degrees, which is great, but not in a city. But that's fine. We can't complain too many times or every single time weather here. But I would gladly be at the beach right now, but I can't. Anyway, I'm here to just update you on Babel. Yesterday was Sunday, my day off, and I read more than 100 pages, so I really made a big dent. And I'm page 360. I still have quite a big chunk like this, but I'm loving this book. I am loving Kuang's writing style. I love what she's bringing to the table in this book. It makes me reflect so much, because anyway, I know the story of our history and stuff in general, but to go so much into details of other aspects as well that maybe I would not have thought, it's really incredible. It makes you think many times before like saying something, or even like things that you thought you knew and then they're not there anymore. I am so sad and sorry for what people went through and are still going through nowadays, like seeing what's happening now in in America and other places of the world, in Asia. It's a lot, and it's so sad. Here, of course, like I always say, we talk about minority, we talk about racism, and unfortunately, it's something that is still going to be, I think, for us for our lives. I don't understand how people cannot understand that everyone comes in everywhere. Because if you think about how men came to Earth, like we've been moving around all the time, and it's so sad saying like, I'm from here and that's it, and anyone else is not. Like everyone, all of us, we are so connected with our DNA in some sorts, and it's there's one passage that I love in this book, which it makes you think a lot of industrialism. And let me see if I can find it. So there's one passage in this book where basically they're talking about like different words, where they're coming from, so some words that English words actually come from different languages, because it's normal, because you get connected to different languages, so it's completely normal, right? So there's one bit that it was so funny, and it says, English did not just borrow words from other languages, it was stuffed to the brim with foreign influences of Frankenstein vernacular. And Robin, which is the main protagonist in the book, found it incredible how this country, whose citizens prided themselves so much on being better than the rest of the world, could not make it through an afternoon tea without borrowed goods. Listen, there's so many other phrases, like so straight to the core, but this one, when I read it, I was like, yep. And listen, let's not open something political here. I'm Italian, all right? I live in England, UK, right? I'm not English, right? I have lots of benefits though, I'm working, I pay my taxes, I paid everything and stuff. But at the same time, I've been here many years now to see like how English people feel the greatness of UK, of England, and being the best, especially now with Brexit and everything. And but at the same time, it's just like they want everything from other countries. So yeah. What I'm going to say? I'm loving this book. I can't say too much what's happening, but you see this, this protagonist, Robin, and like his three friends, and especially two of them, where they feel the same as Robin, like they are trapped in the society because they've been brought to UK to be translators, but they're doing it for an empire that is actually using their country where they've been taken from. And you're like, should I continue? Should I not? Because at the moment I'm okay, but I didn't actually like ask to be a part of it. I've been just taken there, and then you give me every single language to remember, and then of course I feel like I'm quite genius, but this feeling, it's like it's crazy, and I'm sure in real life it actually happened, and then you see it, and and it's really powerful. So I'm enjoying it, and I can't wait to read more hopefully tonight, if not like finish it this week, because it's it's so good. I am so happy that I started reading Kuang, and that the first book is actually Babel. I think it was a good choice for me. Yeah, it's taking me longer to read it, but I am enjoying every single word and every single pages she's basically presenting here. And I think I'm coming back when I finish it to see how it ends, because I don't know how it could end, because it's not like a story that it ends and then everything is going, really great from this on, because it's part of it, like what is in history that happened. So I'll see how it is, and the magic as well is quite interesting. There's also a passage or like a part in this book where I was really shocked of what happened, but at the same time I wasn't even as sad of what happened to a character. I was actually quite happy because this person wasn't a great person. But at the same time, you shouldn't be happy if someone dies. But in this occasion, I am quite happy that this person is not in the picture anymore. But yeah, I'll come back to you next time I read more of this book. But I think it's going to become one of my favorite books of the year for sure. Like, for sure. So yeah, I'll come back to you when I read more. Hi, okay, so I finally finished Babel. It took me ages to finish it and to actually read it, but because, so many things happen, life happens, and also it's quite a chunk, so nearly like 600 pages. So I finished it and I gave it a 5-star. It was a really beautiful piece of literature, and I call it literature because it is. I loved Kuang writing style. I love the story. I love the premises. I loved everything about this book. I was so shocked when I read like one part. I think it was last part of the book. I think that after I spoke to you last time, I wanted to come up again because I was so shocked in what happened in the last 100 pages actually. But I needed to continue. I needed to read it. I needed to see how it was ending, because I didn't know how it could end. Just because the problem and the things that are happening, which happen in here, which happen in the current history, it's not something that it's all gonna be all fine by the next day, right? It's gonna continue. But I wanted to see what was going to happen with the protagonist and with his friends, like how everything could be connected. And I was so shocked of everything, and that's why in some parts on the first 100 pages actually of the book, you see that she's saying okay, you will need to, this person will remember it forever, this part, because it will never going to be like this. And then we see the ending and we're like, yeah. R.F. Kuang does it again. I mean, I haven't read anything from her, but from what I've heard, she writes about things that matters, and this is one thing that matters even nowadays. And I cried, and it made me actually think a lot more about the world that I live and that I am in, and if I can do something about it, even though it's kind of difficult in these circumstances. But it makes you reflect, and I would suggest anyone to read this book. And I don't want to repeat myself, because I said already what I was thinking, because the book is about colonialism, racism, and minority, and war. And I don't even want to say what happened at the ending, but it's something that makes you think. This is a thinking book. Whatever you read, first you grasp notion that maybe you might not know, but then how it's described, you understand why some people are doing this, and the other side as well. And sometimes it's you think only about yourself, you don't think about anyone else. If you're quite high up, you don't think of the consequences of your actions as well. I can't wait to read more books from Kuang. If she gives me, in the other books that she wrote, something similar, I know that she did a fantasy book, which of course is going to be, you know, a fantastic world, but I know that the topic are quite, you know, quite heavy. But if she continues like that, even with a new book, Ottavia coming out in August, I would be super happy to continue and dive in, because it was like, yeah, dense, because it is. I don't think I would have never have read it really quickly, but I understand why it's the book of the year and the winner of the British Book Awards for fiction. So please go and read this book, and it's gonna open your eyes a lot more and make you reflect and think. And it was a really good time in a way, even though the topics are quite heavy, but her writing style is magnificent. So yeah, that was good. Please go and read Babel. Babel is good. Yes, it's hyped, but the hype is worth it, because everyone needs to read this book. And don't be alarmed or don't be afraid of all this kind of footnotes that there are at the bottom, and some of them can be quite long. Just, I don't know if you can see it, I don't think you can, but there's some footnotes in here. These ones are just to explain what happens in general for you to understand how it is, okay? And also now, sometimes when I say a word, I think of what this word might come from. And as I'm Italian and I learned Latin in school, so now I just kind of like see, okay, let me see this in English how it is, and I kind of do mine in myself, even though I'm not a translator, I know nothing about anything, no, but it's so good. So this I think is what I'm gonna take from me, other than you know, like problems in the world and things that happened before and what's happening anyway now, because this is something that is still here, it's still around us, and it's never gonna go away until we change, which from what's happening now in this world is never going to change, unfortunately. Anyway, I hope you like this video. Please like and subscribe to my channel, and hopefully you like to see more videos like this. I hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, I'll see you in my next video. Bye, ciao.